Thank you for joining us on today's Renewed Minds. This edition is brought to you by The Hop. The House on Progress Street is a safe, judgment-free space where young adults and college students who seek an authentic experience with God may grow in their faith. The community is open to all students regardless of what or if they believe. Contact Church on Main at office@churchonmain.church for more details. As always, in our podcast, we'll be discussing challenges and opportunities that we all face no matter what season of life we're in. In each episode, we'll offer some practical tips we've learned over the years and also share how love and grace can help each of us when we're trying to maintain hope. Today in the studio, we have Tommy McDearis, Senior Pastor of Church on Main, and Tonya Dinkel, owner and coach of Life in Action. Today's topic is Saving Santa, Christmas on a Dime. Christmas is just a few weeks away. We've already seen Black Friday sales in full swing, and family budgets are already being strained with just purchasing for essential needs. So how does anyone find a balance between gift giving, enjoying Christmas, and not going into debt for months?
It is not an easy thing to do for a lot of people, but it's something that you really need to look at and look at very hard. Now, remember, we are coming at this from someone who loves Christmas. It's my favorite holiday of the year. I thoroughly enjoy it. I start celebrating Christmas at Halloween for the most part and get excited about it from that point forward. And so it was always very easy for me to go buy more than I needed because I'm one of those I'm a very rare man. I enjoyed Christmas shopping. I enjoyed it a lot. Most men hate it with every fiber of their being. But it was easy for me to go overboard. How do you keep from doing that, particularly in a time when Santa's belt may be needing to tighten a whole lot more than it would have otherwise?
Yes. Well, I will tell you, I am also a huge Christmas fan. It is my favorite season, and it's not because of the gifts. It never has been because of the gifts, actually. I love the lights. That's my favorite part. And the music. And you start celebrating Christmas at Halloween.
Yes.
I start singing Christmas carols, and I have a good excuse for this, in September.
Oh, wow.
Because Tim Woolwine, our minister of worship, is going to love, and Charlotte Smith, who was our minister of worship here, start practicing for the Christmas musical in September. So we have very strict directions to put the CDs in our cars and listen to the Christmas music so that we get used to it. So thank you both, Charlotte and Tim, for encouraging us to start singing Christmas music in September.
It used to make me very happy, particularly with Charlotte. Tim picked his too soon this year, so I didn't get to hear. But usually Charlotte would start listening to Christmas music in July and trying to figure out what her Christmas musical was going to be. And so she always had her door open to her office, and I would go open my door so I could hear it because I loved the Christmas music. Even in the summertime, I enjoyed hearing it.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy. So, and you're going to love this year's Christmas musical. And anyone that's listening, if you want to learn more about the Christmas musical, those dates are going to be published soon. And it'll be here in Blacksburg if you're in the area. And if not, I think we probably are going to do a broadcast. I'm getting a nod from Steve that, yes, we'll be broadcasting that online, so you can definitely join in on that. So we'll get some updates on that.
It's always good.
It's always good, and it's so much fun. It is so much fun. So yeah, Christmas. It's right around the corner. So at the time of this recording being released, we are about 8 weeks out from Christmas, and some people actually are not even thinking yet about Christmas. Some people may not even be aware that Christmas this year falls on December 25th. That might be a shock to some people.
Yeah, it could be.
So if you're one of those people, just know that this year Christmas falls on December 25th. And if you have little ones who are aware of Christmas, or if you have bigger kids that are aware of Christmas, or spouses, my husband, actually, Tommy, also loves shopping in general and Christmas shopping. So, yes, you are both a rare breed that we all love. I love that characteristic of being able to go and enjoy shopping. But if you're not starting to wrap your head around what you think Christmas, you want Christmas to be, not necessarily what you think Christmas should be, now's a good time.
And now's a good time to really start thinking about how are we going to pay for this?
Yeah.
Because too many people get to Christmas and then they suddenly realize, oh, I need to buy this and this and this and this, and I haven't really saved up for that, or I don't have the money there. Or it's easy to go overboard.
Right. It is.
It's very easy to go overboard. I would in my mind say I'm going to buy 2-3 things for each one of my kids, and then you'd see something, and then you'd well, they would really like that.
It's so easy to do. It's so easy to do.
And even little things that you see pile up if you start getting too many of them. You don't have to go out and buy the latest technology and to spend a fortune.
Yeah. So I started doing something several years ago, actually, and my type A self was a little disappointed that I hadn't started this earlier, but I'll share this as kind of a little tip for anybody that likes to buy maybe throughout the year, because I'm one that I will find something and, Sarah would love this, or Landon would love this, or this would be great for Brian, or this would be great for this person, right? I got totes, just the little cube totes, and everyone has one. And they are in a designated spot. I know where they are for each person. They are not labeled, but I know where they are and whose they are. And as I buy things throughout the year, I just drop stuff in there. And Brian, my husband, knows that they're there. He knows they exist. So for the kids and the dog in particular, things come up and he's like, what's in the box? So I'll go pull the box and we lay everything out and we pick things out. So I'm constantly throwing stuff in there that I can find on sale or that just speaks to me. I ended up last year with a ton of stickers for everybody and multiple Christmas ornaments. I'm not quite sure how I did multiple Christmas ornaments for everybody, but everybody got like 3 each last year somehow instead of the normal one. So if you're looking for a way that you can kind of harness that want and desire and ability to pay for things throughout the year, but then you lose track of what you have, there's an easy way to organize. Just stick it in a spot and then remember that you've got that spot.
Let me, I want to just go just a little bit on a tangent here. Steve, does it shock you at all that she has things that are planned all year long and that she has baskets for everything and that it's in a certain place?
No, not at the moment.
I said type A.
I can't imagine that, nobody loves Christmas more than I do, but I wouldn't even think to do that. It would never cross my mind.
Well, it helps with birthdays and, all the other things too.
Sure
So,
does.
it's a great thing.
I do make lists, though, if that's helpful.
Lists are very helpful.
And I'll start thinking about what would each one of these want. And we've kind of reached a stage now to where they, my kids kind of just want money, but they usually want lots more of it. To give.
The toys get more expensive with age. For sure, they do.
But got things in the corners that you put in all year.
Yeah,
I'm just shocked.
I know.
I really am. I'm just amazed by that. But in your defense, it's a good idea.
Yes,
it really is.
I thought it was.
Yeah, don't ever quote me on that. That I said that, but it's a
we don't have it on recording or anything.
Yeah, it's not like it's going to be live. But it really is a good idea.
Yeah.
It just is one of those would never have occurred to me. But see, this is what my wife would do.
Well,
type A. She's very detailed. She would have all of that.
And that's how we balance each other well, because they're just things you would never think of.
There's
so
certainly a lot of them I would never think of, and that certainly would have been one of them. But both the thing that I would have thought of, and that both of us are the point we're making here, is you need to figure out what your spending limits are.
Yes,
you need to know what you're going to do. You can't buy your children's love.
No.
You need to. Your children need to love you even when things are tough. I remember one year my dad retired on disability, and it was several months before his disability checks kicked in. There wasn't much under the tree that Christmas, and it devastated him. I think it was that sense of that, a man ought to be doing things for my family and that kind of thing. I can honestly look back and think I never thought that much about it, because I knew what it was. I knew what the situation was. It wasn't a surprise to me. Now, if that is your life, that can be tough, It wasn't my life. It was just one Christmas that was out of that. But you really can do a great deal toward making Christmas a very enjoyable celebration by coming up with a plan and trying to follow that plan and setting some limits of what that plan's going to look like.
Absolutely. So today we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the creating the plan, both the money plan, but also the gift plan, the decorating plan, the food plan. And we'll start with, for a lot of folks, the timing of this is going to be, oh, shoot, Christmas is in 8 weeks and it's in December this year. I didn't realize that. So let me get stuff together because I am not ready and I have not set money aside. So we'll start with, we'll talk about the budget or the plan piece first, but then we'll also finish today with kind of thinking about that and basically kind of play out what can happen this time next year, so that you're in a slightly different scenario or different position. So let's start with the money plan. So the reality is, if you are going to give something, it's going to cost something, right? So if you're going to give a gift, it's either going to cost you the cost of the gift or it's going to cost you the materials and the time to make a gift. And any of those things are perfectly appropriate. You just have to determine what you can afford to spend. And here, there is no right or wrong answer. There is no, we talked about obedience in a past episode. There is no law that says you have to spend a certain amount of money at Christmas. No matter what your kids say, there's not a law that says that.
Okay. No matter what they're begging for.
Right, no matter what they're begging for. Yeah, so you do need to start with how much can you afford? And you very basically do that by saying, okay, how much money am I bringing home for the month, for the week, however you make out your money plan? How much am I bringing home? And then how much is going out for food, utilities, housing, transportation? Those are the big ones. And then is there anything extra to play with? And of the things that are extra to play with, how much do I have there that I can save? $25 a week can, over time, add up. And honestly, if that's all you can afford to do is $25 a week, that's plenty. Yeah. You don't need to do a lot more than that. And here's the other reality. If this year you are in a position where you can't do $25 a week, even between now and Christmas, that's $200, you can't do that. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. You're doing what you need to do what you can do.
That's right.
And you need to, and to make sure, don't sell the rest of your family's year short,
right, by
trying to do too much at Christmas.
Right. And what we want to make sure that people understand through this ministry of this episode of this podcast, but then also the work that I do with people on a daily basis, is you do not need to go into debt to have good memories going forward. So we'll kind of use that to springboard into some gift ideas that people can give. So handmade versus store-bought gifts. We'll just kind of start there. I distinctly remember a Christmas. I'm going to totally, this, if my family listens to this podcast, and they're going to learn all my secrets. So there was a Christmas. My sister and I were both young adults, both single and both struggling with money. And we're also both in positions where we're like, we don't want to use a credit card for this Christmas, right? But we also were dealing with family history that said everybody gets gifts. It was kind of that unspoken rule that a lot of families have, where grandparents get a gift and aunts and uncles each get a gift, and every cousin gets a gift and every cousin's kid gets a gift. So you get where I'm going. Mm-hmm. We couldn't afford to do that. So we decided we would do handmade gifts that year. And we each went out and bought, I think, an $80 or $90 sewing machine. And we made placemats and napkins, cloth napkins, and we did jars of hot cocoa and things like that. So we made things versus buying things in the store. We went to the Dollar Tree and we got cute coffee mugs that then the packs of hot cocoa that we divided up from Costco came, we divided things up and made things that way. You can also do sentimental gifts. You can give photo albums or picture frames. I know when we were kids, our grandparents always used to get a picture. I'm seeing nods in the room. Picture of the kids, this annual school picture, went in a picture frame, and that was a gift. That's okay. Like they love that.
I know I don't look old enough to have grandchildren, but I do.
I am shocked.
and every year that usually the family will give us some pictures of the children, and they always thrill me to be able to get those.
Absolutely.
Just,
Absolutely. You can also do what some people would call gift-giving alternatives. We started calling it just like a white elephant gift exchange. And we started it on one particular side of my mom's side of the family because there were 6 cousins. And then when you start adding in spouses and then you add in kids, it does get a little crazy. So just the group of cousins decided to do this gift exchange. And there's a dollar amount. It's like $20 or $25. And we play a game. The game is the fun part of the whole. It's not even about the gifts. It's the game, and it's the stealing of the things. And it's a lively bunch anyway, but that makes Christmas even a little more lively.
I always got a little nervous at white elephant things because I never knew what to contribute into that and so forth. But it is a very good way to bring joy into a situation and to bring laughter into that situation as well. You hit on something a minute ago though that I want to. I have a niece by marriage, but we've always been very close. But she did something years ago that was everybody in our family. Everybody got a gift. You always passed it around. Well, she had just got married, and she just came in one day and she said, and she's very straightforward with things anyway. She said, "This is stupid. We need to change this."
I love the direct.
We can't afford to buy things for everybody in here,
right.
So let's draw names.
Yeah,
and
we've done that before too.
We drew names, and it not only did save a lot of money, but everybody got something. But and so it made a huge difference in everybody's wallet in the family, and everybody still had fun.
Yeah, for our perspective, I would say we are blessed in that we are able to provide for the things, each of us, the things that our family needs. And we are able to also do a lot of the stuff that we want to do if we prioritize it and we make the right decisions with our money. So from that perspective, it's not like we were giving socks because the person couldn't afford to buy socks, right? It wasn't that type of situation. It was just, okay, here's another insulated mug that's going to go in my kitchen cabinet. Yay! Love the mugs, but seriously, like your cabinet gets full. But you can have a ton of fun with those things. With my in-laws, we do there's a theme to the one that we do every year. So there was one year the theme was green, which was interesting. And I think theirs is a $20 limit. And somebody unwrapped a Domino's box. And we're like, okay, I don't even want to think about what could be green from Domino's. Right? Yeah. And you opened it up, and it was, I think it was like 18 or 19 $1 bills because they actually charged her for the box. But they got cash. That turned out to be the great prize, or the great gift, right? Another gift was somebody cleared out the canned vegetable aisle at Walmart with green vegetables. So somebody got to stock their pantry. So you can have fun with it, and you can draw some creativity around the theme creation, or you can just let it be like a potluck and you just get what you get.
The other thing you can do is if you are blessed and you're from a family that doesn't need anything, you're standing around trying to think of. My wife and I are blessed people. We have had very good lives, and we have done very well. One Christmas I remember very well, that was just a few years ago, that we kept saying, "What do you want for Christmas?" "I don't know. What do you want for Christmas?" We finally said, "We don't need anything for Christmas. We can't think of anything we want for Christmas. What can we do?" And so we went and we bought hats, coats, and gloves. I think it was like 30 sets that we took the money we would have spent on each other, and we bought those and took them to the Christmas store for them to be able to give out to children during the course of the Christmas season. We've had times when we bought toys like that.
Yep.
Take it and, for those kids to be able, you don't have to give each other something. If there's not anything that if you can't think of anything you really need or want out there, there's people out there that really do need a lot. There are. So let's figure out what we can do to try to help with that.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about that. Every year, for years, we have done some version of the Christmas shoebox, of the angel tree, and in many years we'll do multiples of things. And Brian and I both absolutely love going to shop for these charities and just the things that we can find. And we've incorporated the rest of our family into this as well. So we've taken the kids shopping. Last year, one of the kids had a friend home over the weekend that we were doing this, and he had never done that before. So we got to take him and expose him to this whole new idea of, okay, here's what the angel tree is, and pick your angel, because this is the kid you're going to shop for. And it was just, he had so much fun. And it was, we dropped off the bags at the end of the shopping trip, and it was, but it's just that there is something about giving. Christmas is about giving. It really isn't about receiving. And I think the more you do that with a grateful heart, the more satisfying Christmas can be. And you don't have to spend a ton of money.
We make that easy at our church because we have an angel tree.
We do.
And, we've got several things that we do here through the church that you can give to. And I've had people come and just say, I've had more fun doing that than I did getting anything that was under a tree.
Yep. Yep. And that can happen throughout the year, too. It's one of the things that we love to do. This is not Christmas related, but is donating for, we do a Pack the Backpack event every fall. And it's really gotten to be comical in our house at this point, because the backpacks for this year were bought sometime like in July. Brian saw them and he picked them up, and I was like, oh, so we're getting 4 this year. And then, so we had no more than dropped them off, and we were out shopping, and I see him looking at backpacks. I'm not thinking about, because that's another year away. And he comes up with 4 backpacks, and he's like, this is for the backpack drive. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're getting 4 girls next year. He's like, yes. So you can absolutely plan ahead, whether you've got your totes that everybody has of their own cube, or you're just, you're planning and spending that and saving it throughout the year. It can be very helpful from a budget and plan perspective. You can also, this might be a bit controversial, you can re-gift. You can make an activity out of re-gifting.
What is that?
So
I've never heard of
for those of you that hadn't seen Tommy's face, he clearly has heard of re-gifting. So if you don't know what regifting is, it's where you get something from someone and then you turn around and you give it to someone else. Now, socially acceptable regifting is not doing it in the same event or to the same person. So you don't regift what you were just given, right? So, which has been known to happen. And Tommy, just whatever I give you for Christmas, don't give it back to me. Okay, we'll say that. But what you can do, you can make it a fun thing. And I've seen themes where people said it has to come from your garage, or it has to come from your basement, or it has to be something that was gifted to you that you didn't keep or that you didn't want. So you can absolutely make it a very open regifting activity. So. And there's always a lot of humor in all of that too. So again, you don't have to spend any money. You can just go pull through things that you already have in storage.
It can once again, though, be one of those things where you are helping somebody.
Absolutely.
Every year, either at Christmas or Pastor Appreciation or something like that, I'll get gift cards to various places. And I remember very well one year where I got a gift card to a restaurant that I really liked and enjoyed going to. But I knew a family that would not be able to go to that restaurant and would not have the money to do it and would thoroughly enjoy being able to do it. And so it was easy to pass that card to them because I could afford to go to that restaurant. They would never be able to do that. And it was just such fun to hand that to them and say, go have a good time.
You brought more joy to someone than you would have gotten from having the meal.
Fun.
Yeah. a lot of fun there. So, and then other things that you can do things. You talked earlier about experiences. We found that too. The older our kids have gotten, we like to do experiences, because it's less stuff to deal with. Our basement is full enough. We don't need more stuff, but just the memories that you get to create in doing things. And I've noticed that Brian gets really excited planning these things. So we've got a couple of things planned already for this year that we're going to be doing over the holiday season, just to go and do some fun things. So you don't have to spend a ton of money. You can find, if you want to do activities, experiences, you can find discounts. You can find coupons for things. No shame in coupons, by the way. I am a huge coupon fan. And I've missed cutting coupons out of the Sunday newspaper. As weird as that is, I remember doing that as a kid. Can't really do that as much anymore.
I am truly shocked that you enjoyed such a thing.
Okay, you say that in jest, but really it is amazing that I enjoy cutting coupons. Mom used to make us cut coupons all the time, and I hated doing it. It made my hand hurt from the scissors. So it was a pain. But you can find deals. And then if you're a veteran, there are resources out there for veterans that you can sign up for free, and then you can get access to hockey games and football games and concerts and you name it, theme parks and all kinds of stuff. So there's lots of ways that you can plug into getting some discounted deals. And then you can also just do things at home. One of my favorite things with kids that are now pretty much grown, ours are 18 and 21, is making Christmas cookies at home. So I've got my mother-in-law's sugar cookie recipe, and I've got the cookie cutters, and then I make the royal icing in different colors, and then everybody gets to cut out their own, and then they ice them. And I've got some of the best pictures, and it's just such fun to be able to spend time together doing that.
My wife always enjoyed making cookies with my daughter, Catherine, and my older son grew up to be a professional chef, and he would enjoy that kind of thing too. So she loved doing that.
Yeah. You can also turn Christmas into scavenger hunts. Have you ever done this one?
No.
So I did this with my cousin one year, and I don't know if he'll remember this or not, but I wanted to test his math skills. So I decided to turn his Christmas present into a math game, scavenger hunt. So he would open a box. It had a clue in it. He had to solve the math problem to get the clue, and then he'd go on to the next one. And then it all ended up with he got cash at the very end. But the math problem ended up being, leading to the answer for what amount of money he was looking for. Now, the amazing part to this is that Tonya created a math problem that could be solved.
I was just thinking, if somebody had shown up with a math scavenger hunt for me, I would still be looking for whatever it was.
Yeah, I'm still kind of surprised that I did that. But he loved it, and he loved running around the house. And the adults loved watching him run around the house and getting his gifts. So just some ideas there. Again, you can, especially if you're thinking about making gifts versus store-bought gifts, there are, you can, and this actually goes into decorations as well. If you're big into decorating for Christmas, those decorations are expensive.
They are expensive.
Wreaths and cutesy little things. You can make wreaths. The forms you can get from Joann Fabrics or other fabric stores. You can get it from Walmart. Lots of, I think even possibly some greenhouses would have those types of things. And you can go out and pick pine cones out of the yard and put on a wreath, or, put some cinnamon oil on them and, make a tabletop decoration.
Can you tell who's the woman in this event and who's the guy? It would not occur to me to go make a wreath.
Me neither. I made my home decorations myself in my front yard. You've seen them.
Oh, yes.
Out of plywood decorations and painted them. We didn't go out and buy any of those. We just bought the raw wood and did it from there. Because it's such a great experience. Not only doing it with my wife, but the other experience is people go, "You actually did that?"
Right.
That's right.
So there is a picture in my Facebook feed somewhere from way back, and I had gone to an event with a friend, and it was a wine and wreath making event. So it was at a vineyard, and they would provide all of the stuff. If you wanted extra little things you could put on your wreath, you could do that. But they would provide all of the materials, and I made a wreath that was, 12 inches in diameter. And it hung in my entryway in my house for the entire Christmas season. It was absolutely beautiful. It was made out of magnolia leaves, absolutely gorgeous. So I haven't done one since because I can't top that one. That was my favorite wreath. But yeah, you can do all those things. You can buy wreaths. Dollar Tree has cute wreaths. Like if you just need something for your door.
I was making fun of you earlier, but they really do have.
Shocker.
They really do have.
So they also have components for you to make things. Last year I found a metal form for a witch's hat, and I found some of the decorative stuff so I've now got a witch's hat that's orange and purple that hangs on my front door at Halloween. So you can do these types of things. Target, you can find in their dollar section, there's seasonal things that you can find there. Piece them together and just be creative, have fun. There's no rules. This is not a thing that you have to follow specific rules. It's just, you can use Pinterest. It can be a huge time suck if you're not careful, but you can get some neat ideas, and then just, creativity of your own. What do you want? What do you want? You can find that.
And always try to think of those things too, because it does create the experiences that your kids or your family or anybody else is going to remember.
Well, and if you've got little ones especially, let them come up with it. Because they are incredibly creative.
They are.
They are not afraid of social norms. They are not afraid of what people are going to think. They will give you the wildest and sometimes the best ideas. And just go with that. And, let yourself get swept up in the moment and the spirit of the season. And you'll have fun.
The reason that some things didn't work at my house is because my daughter was just, even when she was small, she was just an amazing artist. And so we would get ready. We were going to make a picture, and the rest of us would have stick people, and she would have this amazing thing that she had made for some of us and so forth, and we were always intimidated by it. So that didn't work well at our house. We had to come up with other plans around besides doing something artistic.
Well, we wouldn't do things artistic in our house either. Although Sarah's very artistic. But yeah, I'm more the stick person myself. So you can also repurpose old decorations. And some of this might end up being sentimental. There's a decorative broom hanging on my door right now, my front door right now. And it was my mom's. Oh, my mom's not with us anymore and has been gone for some time. But I ended up with a lot of her decorations. So I'll just have things sitting around. And, it's a decoration. It fills the season, which is nice. It gives me a nice memory and a story that I can share with my family that never got to meet her. So that's, that can be fun as well. And then you can also upcycle. And this could be yours. It could be somebody else's. If you're a yard sale person, you're probably kind of creative anyway. And you can probably envision things. Other people's treasures can become your new treasures. And you can have fun with recreating some things. Or even, as Steve's example, repurpose some plywood or some pallets or things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's so many materials out there. Like if you have a restore in your area, where you can get lumber for inexpensive pieces. There's always things that you can create. And like you said, Pinterest or other places, YouTube, whatever you want to look, that you don't get sucked into, but you're looking for something specific. Yeah, you'll find all kind of neat Christmas decorations and and people have done it before, and it can kind of stimulate your creative spirits and carry on with there.
Absolutely.
The other thing, one thing though, as we sit here and talking about all these things, I keep thinking back to, what if you're in a situation that financially you just can't afford to do much at all? You
and that's
really
okay.
Can't help, Give yourself permission to think those things through. One of the things on the outline that we put together here, that when I use say we, I mean Tonya put together here, is the 4-gift rule of something that you want, need, wear, or read, and read. Those are the 4 gifts. And if you can't afford 4, pick 3,
Yeah,
pick 2.
it absolutely
pick what
doesn't.
you can afford to do. Your children will be excited to have what they have if you can get them a couple of things.
Yeah, and I actually, the 4 gift rule is actually one of the things that I do. And for me, it is not only determined by the money that I have to spend, it's also determined by the relationship that I have with that person. So here's an example. When my nephew was little, I knew he did not need anything. His clothes were covered. Now, I was the one that would supply him with hokey gear because that was just easy for me to be able to do. But he had everything else he needed, and I knew a lot of his toys were also going to be, because everybody loves to buy baby toys and kid toys, right? That's the fun thing. So for me, I always would get him either a stuffed animal or just something that maybe a shirt or something kind of small, and a book. I always got him a book. And I always got him a book because from the time he was old enough to sit up, and I even saw a picture of him last week sitting in the library floor, he just sits there and reads. So, his entire life, this is what he's done. And that's what Mom used to do. She loved to read to people. So we say that Mom's channeling through him. So depending on your relationship or the situation with the person, you don't have to do 4 gifts. It might be a gift or 2 gifts. But yeah, this 4 gift just gives you an idea of what those areas could be.
And if you can't afford it, just pick one that they want.
Yep.
And then decide whether it's going to be what they need, what they're going to wear, or something to read.
Yep.
And, don't have to, don't go broke for Christmas.
No.
And don't put yourself in a hole that it'll take you months to try to dig out of. Just, that's not necessary in order to have a good Christmas.
Not at all.
Time.
Not at all. So let's talk about food. It's one of your favorite topics.
I really don't like food.
We all know that's not true. But we also all know that we have all been feeling the pinch at the grocery store. Forget any holiday meal. It's been rough even being able to budget for regular weekly grocery trips for most people. And watching our speaking personally, my grocery budget has just been astronomical for way too long. And Brian and I have made choices of, well, this is where the grocery money is going this week, so we're not going to go do this, right? And it's just it's what it is. But you can absolutely create a plan and go through the holidays again without going into debt, but have good meals. So some things that you could do: potluck style dinners. I don't know if your family does that. Our family does that. And part of that, honestly, was selfishly not having one person fix the whole meal.
Yeah.
But let's share the wealth, and everybody brings something. You can do cheaper cuts of meat, or you can also do veggie related stuff. So here's the thing on vegetables. If you're one that likes to eat healthy, you already know that when you shop the outer edge of the grocery store, which is where you should be shopping, it's fewer preservatives and it's healthier and that kind of stuff. It's also more expensive. Yeah. Because it's fresher, right? Your fresh fruits and vegetables are more expensive than the canned or the frozen. The frozen are just as healthy.
Yeah.
So, and they last longer. So you don't have to worry about the expiration of the food. So, if you're thinking about, we talked a couple of weeks ago about chicken pot pie. I was making a chicken pot pie for dinner, and Tommy's not a chicken pot pie fan, which I cannot understand. That just seems un-American and just...
Yeah, it's not
really
mom's apple
sadistic
pie
to me.
moment. Yeah,
but
if you're going to do something with a crust, put something sweet in it.
Well, but savory is also really good. In my chicken pot pie, I always use frozen vegetables, just because they're easy and it works. So. Some other things you can do are batch baking. We talked about Christmas cookies before, and you said Susan loves to do the Christmas cookies. And I've got a friend who loves to make. She loves to bake, and she loves to bake at Christmas to give to other people. I think it's one of her love languages, probably. She just and we love to eat them. So she's a very, very good baker.
Both sides of
that are true. But you can also you can do hot cocoa kits. I talked earlier about, buying stuff in bulk and then break it down into smaller containers. I remember getting a big box of Ghirardelli brownie mix and then separating it out into the appropriate serving sizes, put it into a mason jar, put a little decorative top on it, some twine around it, and you're done. And you can do, I think, probably 3 of those out of a box of the brownie mix if you get the big box.
Yeah.
That's 3 gifts for people.
No, it's true.
And
It really
if you're only doing something very small, maybe it's that and I don't know, a bowl for ice cream. I don't know what it would.
If you're choosing, by the way, but if you're wanting to give me a Christmas present, and you're choosing between a brownie mix or a pot pie, please bring the brownie mix.
Nothing subliminal about that message. All right. So what about the grocery store? I tell you, these grocery prices have been.
It's the American economy is weird right now. It's the strongest it's been in years and years, and yet the things that we have to rely on most are very expensive. Food's one of those.
Yeah.
And so, you're going to be going to the grocery store. Think seriously about what you need to buy, and make. We were talking about making a plan.
Yep.
Make a plan for that grocery store.
Yep.
Don't go in there and see, oh, that looks like that's a neat potato chip. I'm going to buy that.
Right.
Don't buy that. Buy the things that are on your plan.
Yeah, or don't go in and say, what's for dinner tonight? Okay, this will work. Now what's for dinner tomorrow? Oh, that'll work. Or in Europe, the big thing is you buy very small portions, and then you pretty much go to the store every day.
Yeah.
Well, it's convenient there. Right? It's less convenient here to do that. But I have found that creating, and I'll give Brian full credit because I was not a meal planner before we got married, and he very much was a meal planner before we got married. And he taught me how to do that and do it effectively. So now, this is going to surprise you, Tommy, that I take it to this level. But now I sit down and I plan out, I look at the weather and what it's going to be so that I can plan. This is one of those periods where I wish we had video for this because I want to make sure if it's going to be cold that I'm fixing something warm. So for an example, tonight, the low is supposed to be 31 tonight. Chili is for supper tonight.
Yeah.
It's already in the crock pot.
Chili is one of my favorite things in the world.
Well, you can come on over for dinner.
I love chili.
But I figure out what the weather's going to, and I also look at our schedule and where we're going to be and what we're going to be doing and how much time am I going to have. Like, do I need to have a crock pot meal that night because I'm not going to be home until dinner's ready to be on the table? Or is Brian going to cook dinner, which absolutely he does? Or are we going to go out? Are we going to be out of town? Like all of these things, knowing that stuff ahead of time before I even sit down to go, okay, this is what we're going to have, then at least I know how many meals I need to have. And I've even started in the last probably month or so. I was ending up with so many leftovers. We love leftovers. I don't know if y'all love leftovers.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. But I was having so many leftovers, we weren't eating them all. So I've started building in leftovers to the meal plan.
Yeah, we do that too. We don't throw food away. I mean, if we put it in there, we think about what we're going to eat. That she just made a smart remark, just in case you didn't catch that. But we also we make sure that we use what we've got in there. We'll just turn it into something else. Susan's a much better cook than I am, but I also will cook. And particularly when she's out of town, she'll go to Seattle, see grandchildren, and be out there 2 weeks when I can't go. I plan what I'm going to fix during the course of that time, and I go get it and put it back.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, the difference, though, in the two of us is I love chili so much that on the hottest day of August, if you put chili on the table, I could not be happier.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful.
I'm probably not going to turn it down. I do love chili.
Yeah, I'm not going to turn it down. It's not a question mark.
But chicken pot pie is going to be harder for me to turn down.
Well, it's not. I'm not going to have a hard time turning that down at all. It's weird, though. The tastes that are in there, I like. I just, for some reason, don't like it all together. But I don't know why. I can't explain it to you. You're just an odd duck. And if I go to somebody's house and they put it on the table, it's not one of those things that I just can't eat. I will gladly eat it. Just don't put beef liver or something on the table because I'm not going to eat it.
The next time I put chicken pot pie on the menu, we'll invite you over for dinner.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. I will ask before I go, what are you having for dinner? I'll tell you whether I accept the invitation or not. by that and what kind of wine you're serving.
Do have some options there.
I can do chicken pot pie just fine with the right
wine. Okay. Good to know. So from a shopping trip perspective, so going in, Tommy, as you said, with a plan is absolutely going to be a critical piece of managing your money plan through the grocery store. Most grocery stores have apps these days. You can buy your groceries online if you want to, and you do that through an app. You can also build your grocery list through that app, and I've started doing that. Locally, Kroger is a prominent store here, and I use their app, and I go in and just put what I want, and then I actually use that because it breaks it out by aisle, and I shop by aisle. It helps keep me on target with not going down aisles that I don't need to be going down, like the cereal aisle that we just don't buy anything on. So, but you can impact your grocery spending plan by buying seasonal produce and stocking up when things are on sale. This means, obviously, some of the stuff is going to go bad if you don't do something with it. So if you know how to can or freeze, my sister does a ton of that stuff. I never got good at that. But that is something you can do. If you don't know how to do it, Google and YouTube are great resources to learn to do that. I just haven't taken the time to do that.
On YouTube.
You absolutely can. And I do know that Walmart has these supplies if you wanted to start canning to do green beans and tomatoes and potatoes and all of those things. And my grandmother used to have shelves of canned food that she had fixed.
When you go to the grocery store too, don't necessarily look for the top name brand stuff. That's almost always going to be the most expensive. And the Kroger Private Select stuff, the Food Lion, they're good things. That's good quality. So look for the bargains around those kind of things.
Yeah, and there is a psychology to the way that stores are merchandised. So if you don't know about this, the higher marketed items are generally at the average eye level height. Okay, so for people that are really short or really tall, I apologize that statement doesn't apply, but it's the average height, and it's that eye level.
I want to go on record. She's looking right at me when she's talking about the short piece.
I looked across the room, just for
looked straight at me when you said that.
There's two people in the room, and you're one of them. So. But the cheaper things tend to be on the bottom. Now that's, not always true. Oreos are also on the bottom, and I know that because I buy Oreos. But that's some general psychology around how things are marketed. So how can you stick to a budget? First of all, be realistic in what you can spend. Figure out what your income is going to be. If you have variable income, plan on the least amount that you've experienced in the last 3 to 4 months and use that. Don't ever budget or make your money plan off of bonuses. If you're a 100% commission person, that's your income, then you go off the average of what you make over a 3 to 4 month period. So figure out what that's going to be, and then you're going to need to take that money and you're going to need to divide it between all of the things that you need to pay for. Again, food, your normal food, housing, transportation, and utilities. Those are the key 4 that you've got to have covered. You need to make sure you've got a place to stay. The heat is on, food is on the table, and you can get to the job that pays you to continue to do these things. Beyond that, then you see what's left to divide it between gifts for Christmas, food for the meals, and whatever decorations that you want to use. And then you can use apps to track your spending. There's a ton of them out there. Some banking apps will help you do that through analytics. There's some budgeting apps that are out there as well. In my financial coaching practice, we talk about all of these things and how to practically do that every single day and manage to your money plan.
And if you're needing help with this kind of thing, Tonya has put together a really good Christmas spending plan.
Well, thank you.
Piece here that if you'll write in and let us know, we will make sure that this gets in your hand. But it really does cover some very important things. It's simple to use. It's well thought out, and so I would call and make sure and let us know, and we will get that in your hands, and that can help you in your planning as you're coming up here. Tanya's sitting here with her mouth hanging open. She can't believe I've actually said that she did something that was really good.
And we have it on recording, too.
But she really did do a good job on this, and you need to take advantage of it, because I think it can be of tremendous help to you.
Yeah. So we'll make it even easier. So yes, you can always reach out to us through our email, which is renewedminds@churchonmain.church. With this particular tool, I've actually placed it on my website. So you can go to lifeinactioncoaching.com/members, and you sign up to be part of the member community. It's free, doesn't ever cost you anything, but you'll get access to members-only content, and it sits there. So you can get this. It is, as Tommy was looking through it, he just kept flipping pages. It is a multi-page document. So it's intended to help you plan for all of these things, but really thinking, it's even got a reflection piece on it and a forward-thinking piece to it of what didn't work, and then what do I want to do differently for next year. So this is a great place for you to start, no matter where you are in your financial journey, or the planning part of a financial journey, which is usually the piece that kind of ebbs and flows throughout life. This is an appropriate time. Any time is an appropriate time to use a tool like this.
And let me just say, I had absolutely nothing to do with this document that she has put together here. This is totally of Tonya's development, and it is really good. So please take advantage of this. I feel certain one of my sermons is bound to inspire it, but it was
certainly,
which could not be more of a lie. So take that home with you, folks. And but it really is good. It's a good tool. So that's what it is. It's a tool.
It's a tool.
Look for the tools that will help you during this season. It doesn't matter what income level you are on. Yep. Look for the tools that will help you as you are planning, and utilize those tools. We've got one here that you can take advantage of. There are some books that are written out there about spending at Christmas. Don't hesitate to go pick one of those up. But use the thing that works for you, but use something.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
that'll be the key.
Absolutely. So there are a couple things that you can do for planning for next year. Christmas clubs actually are still a thing. Banks will still offer the Christmas clubs. You can also use direct deposit if you have access to that, and you can automatically route money into a different account. Again, I mean, $25 a week over the course of a year is $1,300. That's a really nice.
And if you do it right, you can make $1,300 go a
You
little
can-
ways.
you
You
can.
really can.
You absolutely can. You can. All right. So just kind of as a recap, Christmas doesn't need to be expensive to be joyful. We've talked a lot today about ways that you can do things in a very low cost way. And in some cases free. I mean, shopping your basement or attic or, friends and families' houses where they're trying to clean things out don't usually cost you anything. So it really is about the memories. It's not the material things that are going to mean the most at Christmas.
And let me just throw one other thing out here, just in case you haven't noticed. I'm the pastor of a church.
Really?
Remember, this Christmas season is built on something that I see these things every year. Jesus is the reason for the season. But it's true. So try to get involved in the real meaning of Christmas, and it's more than just gift giving. It is about the gift that came to us, and let's remember that and try to focus on it. That will go a long way with your children years to come if they realize exactly what this season is truly about.
Yeah. The magic of Christmas comes from the heart.
That's right.
Not from the wallet.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Very good.
All right. Well, good chat again, as always.
It always is.
Yes.
Yeah, seems to turn out that way, doesn't it?
It does seem to turn out that way. Well, we thank you all for investing your time in our message today. We are truly, truly grateful for you. If you found today's episode to be helpful, please like and subscribe to the podcast and share it with others. If you'd like to join in the conversation, we would love to hear from you. So email us at renewedminds@churchonmain.church. If you are interested in the Christmas planning tool for your finances, you can go to lifeinactioncoaching.com/members and sign up to get that for free. We hope you have a great day and approach every day with a renewed mind. And we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Hopefully this brings a renewed perspective to the challenges and opportunities you're facing today. What steps are you going to be taking to show love and grace to everyone? If you have any questions or comments about our podcast, please send an email to renewedminds@churchonmain.church. Thanks for taking time out of your day to join us. Listen next week for the next Renewed Minds.